Asaba, Pongo, from Elebang. These two people stood at gunpoint. Had they been found guilty, they would have faced life jail or firing squad. It is for this reason and this reason only that I am appealing to all ABLM funds to stand up like one man and honor the siblings of these people. Honorable Fonju Martin. Honorable Ndobegang Michael. Honorable Bernard Foju. Barrister F.W. Atabang. M.N. Atabang of Atabang Enterprise. Manfred Ashu. Sir Wilfred Belem, Director of Linguistics Affairs, Presidency, Yaoundé. Reverend Father John the Road surveyed and dug the road from Chang to the war in preparation for the ordination of the first son of the BLM as Reverend Father Charles. As a volunteer, you are the Dr. Nikumamin. George Isota, Lebang, Le Walk, Dumatet, Merita, Mongbin, Mongra, Mwengong, Lebialam, Hello, Radio Benji, Manti, Besali, Chati, Folepi, Ngubo, Ngong, Banga, Bamumbu, Timothy Lekonzi, made us proud in sports. Hello, Radio Allo. Ndunge Simplis, who also made us proud in sports. Dr. W.L. Asso, Tiagem Clinic, the best producers of Irish potatoes and cocoyams from Belua.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, fellow Amazonians. You are welcome again. Today is Friday with the voice of the Amazonian woman on ABC TV. This is the horizon. You are all welcome. And we appreciate each and every one of you in the Americas, in Asia, in Europe, on ground one, on ground zero, in Ghana, in the Latin Americas, in the USA. We wish everyone, every Amazonia,
I don't start my
everywhere,
show.
wherever you are, we wish every one of us a pleasant Friday evening.
Unique people, we are not one of them, and we deserve our own land to live a life filled with freedom to pursue our own happiness. Thank you, Ma Rachel, for having me today.
Okay.
You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amba TV, the voice of Ambazonia. Stay tuned.
Greetings, fellow Ambazonians. Greetings, Southern fellow Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonia. This is your servant Pony Long, once again live on air. It's been a while since I appeared on ABC today. What they are not telling you. I'm honored to host the SOS for the new SOS. There have been a little bit a change. My former boss, Zama, has taken another position, and now Comrade Frank, SOS Frank, has taken another position. So I'm here with him today. Please share this link, share this link, share this. You'll be going to hear what they are telling you, what they don't want you to hear. We are going to talk about it today. My priority, you see, ABC Amba television televiewers, please, you are welcome. I salute our generals, our field marshals, all zero. Please, revolutionary greetings. As you come, you link, you share the link, you share, please share subgroups, share. What the devil does not like to hear, that is what we are going to do today. You know, the devil hates the word of God. When you speak the truth, the devil does not want to hear. They divert the truth. They want to cover the truth from you. So I'll be here with Secretary of State for Defense, Self-Defense Security, Frank. He's going to talk. Last time in my show, he only said audio. But today we are going to talk on what actually happened so that you will see him and hear from him directly. And we are also going to talk the situation in Bambalang, or we stand together, Field Marshal in Kutunja County, the entire people of Ambazonia. We stand with you, Field Marshal Nobi. Whatever happened, better the Ambazonian people are with you. Know that the interim government is with you. Know that the people of Gokutunja will stand as a team, as a stick, as a pillar behind you. We know you are a field marshal of great exploit, and you are going to come back strong. We believe that. Please hit your share button. Hit your share button. What people don't want is to hear the truth, and we are going to come out with the truth today. We don't have much time, so please, maybe some people will watch this show later, some people will watch it later, but we'll not waste time and we'll go straight. I will be calling on SOS. Are you there? Please, can the Amazonian people see your face? SOS Frank, are you there?
Hello, Comrade Paul, can you hear me?
I can hear you 6 on 5. 6 on 5.
All right, so can I go on?
They might be fine, man. No.
Hey. All right,
Oh, we are
fellow
proud.
televiewers.
We are blessed to have a very handsome SOS like you.
Hey, man. All right, thank you, Comrade Paul. Thank you, fellow viewers, fellow
Please, can
Ambazonians.
you? Yeah, your position is okay like that. Please don't go one side. Just face the camera there. Yeah.
Oh, you good?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes, fellow Ambazonians, fellow televiewers, the field marshals, the major generals, the colonels, the captains, the commanders, and the foot soldiers. 21 gun salute. I respect you for all you are doing. My name is Comrade Frank Chenyi. I am the SOS for self-defense and security under the interim government led by His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ekomesako. And I'm honored to be here with Comrade Paul to talk about what they are not telling you. So, Comrade Paul, I'm here available to talk. Let's talk.
Thank you very much, my SOS. You know, you used to be chairman, so I always call you Chairman Chairman Frank. So this SOS palaver now like this. But well, we'll be used to it.
Yeah, that's okay.
You're welcome. What is your vision? Let's begin with let me have this opportunity to, before we go into the talk proper, so that we build the audience. What is your vision as a Secretary of State for Self-Defense and Security? What is your vision? What do you envisage for the Ambazonia people?
Thank you, Comrade Paul. Thank you for that question. Fellow Ambazonians, I think I want to first of all thank Mr. President for giving me this opportunity to serve as the Defense Secretary at this critical moment. I want to assure him he did not make a mistake, because before I joined the revolution, he never knew who I am. He saw what I did in Gokutunja for over 3 years. and he was impressed. And he felt that if I can turn Ngogutunja around, then I can turn Ambazonia around. So my vision as the Secretary of State for Self-Defense, the first thing is to be able to work with the Ambazonian restoration forces to flush out the enemies out of our territory as soon as possible. This 2022 is not going to be a year of joke. Yes, we have challenges. I'm taking into account every internal challenge plus the external challenge. And I'm telling Ambazonians, please, we can do this. Our restoration forces are capable of defending our territory. And we, their support link, we need to be able to stand with our restoration forces and flush this enemy out of our territory. 2021 was a remarkable year. I want to thank former Secretary of Defense, Comrade Zama, for the excellent job he did. I want to thank everybody that was in his team. But I equally want to say we have a lot of work to do, and I am up to the task. The next vision I have for Ambazonia is reconciling our restoration forces with our communities. The restoration forces are fighting to free homeland, and we have civil society individuals in all the communities that make up the entire Ambazonia. When the civil society is not happy with the restoration forces, we have to be careful because that civil society is our first line of defense. So I have an obligation to make sure I train the ARFs to be able to respond and handle the civilians in our community in a more professional way, not to mess up things. And still in that dimension, I equally have a vision of making sure 2022 records the highest impact of casualty on our enemy. 2021 was just a tip of the iceberg. Beginning 2022, they will see more dangerous things coming up. Yes, I know it was a rough beginning, but it will mark a good end. Thank you, Comrade Paul.
Wow, that is very, very. The vision is clear. The vision has no mixture. It is very, very clear. Now, before we go into the business of the day, let's talk about the stillbirth Federal Marshal Project. What do you think about it? Yes, the stillbirth, because it was a child that was conceived but never put there. So what do you think about it? Because we are going to talk about how it's crashed. Because there are some crooks. Anyhow, what is your own view about this Federal Marshal?
Yeah, still in that dimension of appreciating everybody that had for one moment had a dream to work for the people of Ambazonia. Even if you came in with a crooked intention, I salute your effort. Because it takes only the brief to fight an oppressor. The Federal Marshal Program is one of the biggest challenges this interim government has received, based on the fact that the scope at which we were looking at this project was never realized. And unfortunately for us, planning was excellent, but execution became a problem. Yes, there are challenges, but sometimes when we have challenges, at least we should be able to see some remnants of success in what we are doing so that we can at least attribute that to the challenges of the field. We understand what we are going into is not a child's play. But unfortunately, I think my predecessors that handled the federal marshal, they were not only inexperienced, they were reckless. Because at least we should have seen some element of success. I don't want to go deep into it.
No,
We
the
are
program is what
a never
the
again
program is what
generation.
they are not telling you.
Yep.
So
Okay, that's fine.
go a little bit deep. Not too deep,
Okay,
but a
a
little
little
bit
bit
deep.
deep. Yeah. A good chunk of monies was put together, and the idea was to build a team of our response force that can take care of business anywhere around our territory. When this idea was brought up, a good number of well-wishers, Ambazonian well-wishers, came together, donated money, and put that money at the disposal of the team that was running the Federal Marshal project.
Who was heading that team?
I know the project manager was former Secretary Bishop John
Yeah.
Egiawa, and I feel he did a good job to an extent, but it seems his inexperience in noticing challenges pushed the project into a sham. Because if you are in a project, you measure your level of success before you engage in the next phase. For you to run
Yeah.
an entire project from the beginning to the end, just to get to the end and see that nothing worked, it means there were no success miles that you were even covering. So how did you continue to go when nothing was working? We have ARFs that left all the way from Dongamantum, who got stuck in another county for months, waiting for stuff, waiting for directives, and yet nothing was working. Inexperience was the key of our failure here. Thank you.
Inexperience and recklessness.
Exactly.
And these same people are the one pointing today at the president. Was it the president who managed this project? No, this is what they are not telling you. Was it Dr. Sako who was supposed to go down and manage the project, or it was the rightful place of the Secretary of State for Defense at that time to manage that project?
Thank you for that question, Comrade Paul. Televiewers, we all understand this is voluntary work we are doing. But if I'm not capable of doing the voluntary work, I should be able to be honest to the people that, hey, this is going to be a challenge. I need to be replaced. I should not accept what I cannot do. And I just want to make this very clear to us. To be the Secretary of Defense doesn't mean I must have fought in World War I or II in order to run defense. I am the link between the restoration forces on the ground and the federal government. I am the one to fight for them at the federal table. Where I am running short, I should talk to them and see how to move things around. And I do not expect the president to micromanage me at this level. He has given me a responsibility, and I owe him that duty to execute that responsibility. I say this in connection with why I use the word inexperience and reckless management. The former Secretary of Defense, Bishop John, had the opportunity to manage this project. It was his due responsibility to see that things are put in place at the right time and by the right people. If it did not work, yes, the president is only going to accept a blame because they say on easy lies the head that wears the crown.
Where's the crown? Yeah.
But he was not micromanaging this project. He was receiving what? High-level briefings. When we talk of high-level briefings, that is what is placed at his table. But as to the nitty-gritties of the project manager is responsible for that. So that's why Bishop needs to take his responsibility for failing to deliver that project. Thank you.
You were so much engaged in defense. From you built Ngokutunja for what it is today. You started from scratch, right, to the grace that Ngokutunja is experiencing today. You are deeply in defense. Can you measure the success of we are calling names today? Sorry, international, we are calling names. Can you measure the success of Bishop John Ejawa as Defense Secretary? Can you classify him as success? We have to. Your name is Frank. You have to be Frank, my SOS. It's not sabotage. It's not sabotage. It's reality.
Yes.
What the ambassador people need to know.
Yes. Let me answer that question. Unfortunately, I will give him a fail. Defense. However, let me back up my statement. He succeeded in certain things. He did succeed to galvanize and bring together our restoration forces on ground at some level. But in helping those restoration forces benefit anything as a link between the federal government and Ground Zero, he had a wonderful fail there. It did not work. Now, why was I involved in defense? Was it because I was overzealous? No. It was because I knew I can always count on my defense chairman, at that time, Comrade Langmi, and he took me as a brother. And he knew if he has to succeed, he has to work with trusted hands. So we were in the situation room together, talking and understanding the challenges of the field. And whenever he had a roadblock, he ran back to me. He would tell you today that the success we are receiving in Ngokutunja was due to the fact that we were available for the restoration forces to ask us the questions, to connect with us, and to get our assistance. Former Secretary John had a lot on his plate as the Defense Secretary, but unfortunately, he could not deliver in any of those projects. That's why it became incumbent on the people to start looking and questioning what is going on. And fortunately, the president replaced him with Secretary Zama, and he was still given the chance to work within the department. But even the sub-branch of the department that they gave him did not produce any results. That's why it was obvious he needed to go. Because as a defense secretary, it did not work. As a special operation director, it still did not work. So what is the need keeping him there? That's the answer. Thank you.
I think it is clear, it is clean, and if he is as he is as he has been a failure, it is not where he is now that he will be a success. He will always fail. Now, do you
I
fellow
wish
Ambazonians, I
him
want
good luck for that.
now it's not the issue of good luck, it's issue of technicality, it's an issue of know-how. If you cannot deliver here, you will not deliver there. It's something that it's inborn. You have delivered from Gokutunja, we see the blueprint, we see everything. So hopefully in the larger scale you will do more better. Let me just bridge this and tell fellow Ambazonians why you see me, I don't do live shows regularly, is because the order of the day. I hate to do live show when La Republique will copy that live show and use it against Ambazonians. But now it is imperative that we must speak the truth, because the level at which some individuals are coming, we need to protect this institution. We need to stand for this institution. And to stand for this institution is to tell Ambazonian the truth that they are not telling them. Now, I think we have got almost 250. So we go into the proper of the day. I want you Ambazonians to look at you. You look at them eyeball to eyeball and tell them what transpired. Please, I would like you to be a little bit detailed on what actually transpired that we lost. I got the detail, the full amount. Maybe you never got the full amount. The total amount that was dished out was 135,000 US dollars. So what happened? We only heard you on audio last time. Let the Ambazonian people look at your eyes while you speak.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Paul. Fellow Ambazonians, this is a challenge. Last time when I spoke to Paul, it was an audio. I was responding to a question. And he questioned me because I was privileged to be in that meeting as the former chairman of Ngokutunja, which the project was carried under my leadership. I wasn't there as a cabinet member. During that meeting, there were only 4 cabinet members in attendance. Other cabinet members that came in were asked to excuse themselves because they were not part of the project. The 4 that were there, the president, Dr. Samuel Ekomesako, was there. The former vice president, Dr. Abongwa Harrison, was there. The former communications secretary, Mr. Chris Anu, was there. And the former director of special operations at the Department of Self-Defense, Secretary Bishop John Egiawa. These are the 4 people that were on the government bench. And if any trial shall be done on what happened or who embezzled what or who did what, I just gave the Ambazonian people the names. Now, on the other side, who were the stakeholders that had put money in this project? Mezam County was there, fully represented. Donga-Mantung County was there, fully represented. Momo County was there, fully represented. Ngogotunja County was there, fully represented. And Boyo County was there, fully represented. Now, in these counties I just mentioned, some of the counties came in with their LGAs, some just came at the level of the county. I am not going to break figures here because the detailed figures were not breaked out during that meeting. But I heard the vice president mention $78,000. I asked the question, how much was used for the transportation you guys claim here? He said about $78,000. And Mr. President asked him, was that including the big rubber guns that we added in the project? And he said no. So I cannot give any figures here because I just want to be honest with what I heard, and then the rest of it can be picked up in the background.
It means another amount was added on the 78.
Correct. So
Okay,
if you have your figures, the figures should be the total at the end of the day.
Yeah, I got the figures. That is what it makes the total of 135.
Excellent. So during that declassification, the explanations, all four concerned parties gave a detailed explanation of what happened. I'm not going to recount everything here, but Mr. President introduced us to how he came to that project. Then he passed the ball to Secretary Chris, who confirmed he was the one that introduced the president to that.
Former Secretary Chris, please.
Former Secretary Chris. Thank you. Thanks for that correction. Now, former Secretary Chris explained how he got to that and passed the ball to the former vice president. Let me keep correcting myself. Dr. Abongwa explained how he got involved. I want to pause here and explain a few things because Dr. Abongwa's involvement in this project is he is the one that contacted us and requested money for this project. He is the one that introduced us the project. The only person we knew in this project was the former vice president. I'd never known that the project involved the president, Secretary Chris, or Bishop John. When the vice president approached me, I'm talking as the chairman of Ngogotunja at that time, he explained to me that everything being equal, within 10 days, we will receive our stuff. We should go ahead and pay the money into the treasury. It was a deposit, which is like a caution. When we pick up our materials, our money will then be used. I said, okay. I presented the project to my county. We deliberated on the project, and there were a lot of questions that the county asked me that I could not answer. However, in order to save and still stand with the word of the vice president, I decided to deposit $5,000 into that project. Not county money, my money. And I say my money because even the ANSC can testify that they needed to go into that project. Few days after the project kicked off, they called me and withdrew out of the project. So I had to pay them the money they wanted to put in the project and consider what I paid into the treasury now as my responsibility And the goal there was, when the materials arrive, I will present it to my county and say, okay, here are the materials, reimburse me my $5,000. Now, when I paid that money, I wrote to the VP, I forwarded the receipt to him, and the county name was added in that project. Few weeks down the road, more than after the 10 days, our restoration forces on the ground sent me some materials they had in hand. And I wrote to the vice president, former vice president, please.
Yeah, or Dr. Abungwa,
Thank
it will
you.
be better.
Yeah. I wrote to Dr. Abongwa and I said, please, it's more than 10 days, can I withdraw that $5,000 and help acquire this big rubber gun that is already in the boys' hands? They need this. And he responded, Chairman, just give a little time. Everything is in progress. We are closing up. I said, okay. I stayed. It went months till December. And we said, you know what? This is December. We must know what is happening. Everything started in May, the month of May. That's when we gave our money. So we needed the materials
So,
by the 20th of May.
yeah.
But by December, I think the declassification was December 28th or so. By that time, nothing had come in, nothing. It was still one promise, one promise, one promise. So that's when we said, no, either you declassify now or we're not going to take it anymore. And the president was willing to bring these people in so that we listen to what happened and go from there. Let me leave it at that level and get a follow-up.
So, the main purpose, what was the objective of these materials? When
I
this
think,
was introduced, yeah.
Yeah,
Was it that it
the
was
main purpose.
they have, yeah.
Go ahead. I'll wait for you.
No, was it that the materials were cheap, available? We have to get it just now, so that when this particular project, was that such words that were coming to entice you people?
Yeah, that's a better word, entice, because I fell for it. Well, honestly speaking, for those that are in this revolution, they know what it means to move material or to buy materials. And I have lost money in trying to get materials. So I understand. So when you come to me and you say, hey, what I was supposed to spend $1,000, you're going to give it to me at 500. And you are Dr. Abongwa. Do you really think I should say no? It was based on trust. Look at the caliber of person that was talking to me.
Okay.
Do you really think
Yeah,
I would have imagined that this is going to end the way it ended? So not just the fact that the materials were cheap, but the fact that it came from a high level or high ranking personality in the struggle that I will feel that I need to work with. Remember, my county rejected the offer, right?
Yeah.
But I trusted this deal to the level that I put $5,000 in it because the materials were cheap. And if they were cheap, I would be proud to see every soldier on the ground in Gokutunja holding an agri stick.
Yeah. So
why will I not fall for it?
And let me tell you, we're supposed to fall for this. Is something that I had never spoken about. One time, the Dr. Abungwa, the former vice president, called. We had a chat, and he told me we're raising funds for the big firewood. So he asked me, do you people have any contact for this big firewood? We said, no, we are still struggling. We are still trying to make contact, but I think we got, we thought the price was about either, I think, 10,000 for a stick, one big firewood, 10,000, either 5 or 10,000. Then he told me that, Paul, don't worry. We have a project at hand. It's very cheap. We'll get one for 3,500. When we succeed, I will take the money from big firewood so that we can add into the project. So it's now I begin to realize it was that particular deal. So
Let me
fellow
explain this,
Amazonian,
Paul.
yeah,
Let me explain this. The way this deal was presented to the president, he knew that was our salvation. So when he gave the vice president the chance, the former vice president, the chance to run the project, he was of that opinion that at that level, every county was going to get like 5 big rubber guns from the federal government as a support to the counties. Can you imagine that? So, if anything I'm saying here is a lie, I stand to be corrected. I appreciate it. There is no reason to castigate anybody because I don't have any personal problems or I've ever had any
no,
issues with these former officers. I'm just trying to be fair in what we are doing or saying.
my
And
SOS,
we should
the
learn to
Amazonian
take
people
our
has lost.
responsibilities.
It's not issue of not having anything. It's issue of a thief that has been caught, and the Amazonian people must be aware of it. That is the simple truth. So it's not issue of
Truth.
who would say, who don't say. So please, what was the role? Okay, proceed, because I'd like to know the role of Bishop John in this project and why. Running a project for close to 3-4 months, no single picture, no single video of the materials, nothing. Please explain that to the Amazonian people. The trust was just too much.
So
And I
that's
fell
why
for
I
it.
laugh. That's why I
I would
laugh. We did not learn our lesson from the federal marshal. We did not. We did not learn our lesson from the satellite phones that my former Secretary of Defense, Bishop John, handled, and nothing worked. We did not learn from that.
money
This
paid
time
and no
around,
satellite phone delivered.
Bishop John's involvement in this, as he explained to us during the declassification, he was the 4th person to speak. President spoke, former Secretary of Communications spoke, former Vice President spoke, and they gave Bishop John Igiawa the chance to speak. He introduced himself and said he was already on his personal mission, and the president called him and said there was an assignment, he should work with the vice president and see how they can deliver. So he started following up from country A. He got involved. He was introduced to the deal. He followed up. Everything was moving. As he explained, he said when he got to how to move money, there was a challenge because the first source he wanted to use to move money was extremely expensive. He himself explained it to us and said the person was charging the federal government $2,000 for every $10,000 you transfer. You can imagine that. Somebody is going to take $2,000 for him to move you 10,000. So when you give him 10,000, he gives 8,000 at the destination. Then he saw that that was going to be a challenge. Then he decided to use another way to get the money to where he needed the money. Per his explanation. Now, everything was going fine. Got to a point where he needed pictures of what he is buying. And that high-ranking officer who was running the deal told him there was some political unrest in the country where he was trying to move the stuff. At that level, they could not take pictures from the warehouse because some other guys had attacked some areas and security was tightened up. So he should be patient. Then that's where he lost contact not to take photos. But things progress. And then a first vehicle that was 45 for the stuff waited for weeks and was unable to pick up the stuff because of some challenges. So the driver got frustrated and left. They had to look for a second vehicle and reinforce that vehicle to the level that it's good to go. By the time everything was done, the equipment was then loaded and everything good to go. So they started crossing country A to country B to country C to country D and all the settlements and all whatnot.
Hold it there, SOS. So when they were transferring it to the next vehicle, there was no possibility that they could take a video or a picture of it. Was there unrest when they were transferring to the next vehicle?
I believe so. Because
so when they were yes,
if there wasn't unrest, they should have at least been able to take a photo of whatever they were loading. But there was no photo from the start of the deal to the end of the deal.
Okay.
We only hear how they are passing from one scanner to the other until they got stuck in another scanner.
Just hold it there. Now there is no photo. Let's go to another point. Did you at one point, as part of this donor, did you at one point get the name of any person who was involved as a driver on the ground, as the main person who receiving the money, whatsoever? Were you given any name? Was any name ever mentioned in the course of the deal by Bishop John, by the initiator, Chris Anu, or Dr. Abongwa?
No, because remember, before December 28, the only point of contact was Dr. Abongwa, because he was the one that came to me. He was the one that came to every chairperson that gave money. So we did not even know former Secretary Chris was involved, or former Bishop John was involved. It was during declassification that we heard that. But then let me straighten up this point, because in your audio, you heard me say something about moving some resources. As an interim government, we do not yet have the capability of making phone calls to banks to move this from point A to point B. As a revolutionary group, we are all guerrilla fighters.
Yeah.
So in doing our guerrilla fighting, even our resources are moved as guerrilla fighters. Whether they are human resources or whether there are financial resources, I have to make it very, very clear.
Yeah.
So at one moment, because of the role I play in the revolution, I am a guerrilla fighter. And I look at you in your eyes to tell you I am a guerrilla fighter. And I will do anything for the boys on the ground. Their resources will be at their doorstep, no matter what La Republique would do, because I can move it. At one moment, I was contacted, and I was told to move some resources. I did just that within 5 minutes. You cannot stop me as a guerrilla fighter. Nobody. Now, down the road, Bishop reached out to me, John Igiawa, and requested that he is having a challenge with the resources that we are moving for this project. He did not tell me for this project, but he said for a project. He wanted me to help him handle some of the resources. And I sent
Financial
some
resources,
resources.
financial resources or the
Financial,
material.
financial,
Okay.
financial. And I sent some
Okay.
resources into the accounts that he described. But those
Meaning,
resources were not
meaning,
much. Hang on,
yeah,
hang on. Those resources
yeah.
were not much because his prescribed method of movement was restricted. Restricted in the sense
Okay.
that those are conventional methods. Gorillas don't deal with conventional methods.
Sure.
So when I did transaction 1 and transaction 2, I got back to him and I said, my brother, these are conventional methods and it's easy for the hand of the gorilla to be seen in this pot. If you don't want the gorilla technique, I cannot. But then it turned out during the declassification, I then discovered from his explanation, because he made mention of the challenges of moving resources. And then it was clear now that the resources that were moved during that time through his instructions were meant for this project. So you can pick it up from there.
Okay. Let me go on this question. You talk of these trucks have to pass through scanners. If I look at the whole of Africa, were these trucks supposed to pass through the airport? Because it is only through the airport that we have scanners. Our normal cross to border don't have scanners. If you want to carry these things, you sonde in French we call you sonde them. You hide them inside things. You mix them. So which scanner are you telling the Amazonian people?
All right. This is the explanation, and I'm happy. Former Secretary of Special Operations, Bishop John, is still alive. He can explain that better to the people of Ambazonia. Yeah, he's still alive. But I'll try to answer on his behalf for now because I'm the one sitting on the hot seat. He explained that there were exit scanners from some of the territories that we were crossing. And the first scanner they were able to settle. And it seems they left that scanner, and the people of that area called the other area and told them, these guys fought so hard to settle us without us seeing what they are carrying. So make sure you check them because you might eat from there. So when they got to the second scanner was asking for 5 million francs colonial CFA. He got back to the team and 3 million was released. He received the money and forwarded it to the driver. When the driver got the money, the people moving the materials told him that was not enough. They need another 2 million per his words. He got back to the team, and then at that moment, they needed to brief the president on what was going on. When they briefed the president said, this thing is like we are going down the rabbit hole. It's no longer straight. What is going on? Can we stop it right there? Then, per that explanation, I think the three of them, former Secretary Chris, former Vice President, and former Special Operations John, they met and they discussed and they saw that there were some challenges. Then they decided to put the project on hold. But when they put the project on hold, they never found it necessary to let the people of Ambazonia, who were the stakeholders, to know until that December 28th, when they explained all this to us. And the question now was, Secretary Chris, former Secretary Chris, when did you think this is going to be rough? He said after they contacted him that the people are not responding positively the way they expected. And that was the moment he used the word, after we met and evaluated the way things were, I think that was a 419. Those were his words. He's the one that used that word, and all of us became so furious from that moment, asking ourselves, what do you mean by 419? Because if I understand myself, if you tell me at that level that was a 419, it means everything is gone. So everybody became furious from that moment, and that is the moment we entered the questioning phase. That's it.
Can you tell the Ambazonia people some of the questions you asked and what was their response?
Well, I can try to recall some of them. However, I already mentioned one question, which was, when did you find out this was a 419? And the response was, when they requested the additional 2 million and they were unable to provide, or they decided not to add the 2 million to what was already spent. Then
The president
evaluated
put
and
a hold.
yes,
It was the president who said,
yep.
So,
Yep, who said, now we're not going to put another 2 million there. I think this is getting a little rough. Let's, kind of, I cannot give exact words, but that's when there was a hole. The hole came in when they said they needed another 2 million to add to that 3 to make up the 5 million that they needed at that scanner. So, per the explanation of John, the vehicle was there for 2 months and we were unable to bring the 2 million, and they took the stuff back to whatever country they came from. That was the explanation. Now, when it comes to the questions, yeah, go ahead.
No, continue.
Okay, when it comes to the questions, I will not be able to recall all the questions here, but critical questions everybody was pointing at was, how come nothing was noticed? There was a question, very prominent question was, do we have any pictures of anything? That was the moment John repeated the explanation of what happened in the country where the equipment was, that they were unable to take any pictures. Now, there was a question of, I remember one question that really stood out, which kind of created some tension in the house a little bit, was, Comrade Fide of Bafut, I think so, yes, Comrade Fide of Bafut, he asked a question. He said, former Secretary Chris, from your explanation, it sounds like, I hope this was not involving one allergy of Santa. Then Secretary Chris, or former Secretary of Communication, Chris Anu, was a little very annoyed to say, why would you say it involved allergy of Santa? Why did you choose to ask about allergy? And there was a little bit of tension here, but then let me correct it. During Chris's introduction, he said he has been a journalist for a while. He was a journalist in Nigeria. And in course of his journalism, he has interviewed even high-profile targets. And one of the high-profile targets he interviewed had one moment been involved as a rebel leader in one of our African countries that fought or had the same crisis like us. So he was able to reconnect his contacts and got connected to some high-level targets that he presented to the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia that could help us acquire some stuff that was available. I might have mixed a little bit, but give and take 70% of what I explained sounds like what he said. So, but the explanation of country A, country B, country C, country D, country E, country F, and the scanner, and the potatoes, and the this, and the that. Now, Fide asked this question about an allergy, and everybody was like, whoa, why so annoyed about the question? It was just a question. And the answer was no allergy was involved. So those are some of the prominent questions that I can remember. I will tell you, when we even got to this point, we told, I think it was still not Fide, it was defense chairman of MESAM, Commander Wilson. Commander Wilson said, do you really think what you just vomited here is good enough for us to take to our people? That people are dying on the ground and you guys come and sit here and you are telling us country A through country F and nothing, not even a picture to show? So when he expressed how frustrated he was, we are at that moment, to save the face of the revolution, we agreed that that was not good enough to bring it out there. Because if we bring it out there, these same cabinet members that sat in that meeting and gave us all this explanation, they will be so disappointing in front of their people. So I was the one that motioned what we needed to bring out of that meeting. If our constituencies needed to ask us questions, we should be able to give a better explanation of what happened, just to hide the shame in the faces of our leaders. But unfortunately, immediately we came out, something else was on the air. And that's where it all went wrong. Because if you start talking, then you just push some of us that were in there to explain the truth we heard from your mouth. Because everything we spoke there was on record. Everything. If the declassification tapes are there, then I don't need to hold this show with you. We all see what is on social media right now. The problems, the allegations of the Restoration Council. Allegations. Now we need to listen to the 5-hour tapes. Same as this. If people do not want to stand up to their mistake and be honest to those mistakes, then let's play the tapes and hear why would I, Chairman Frank, let me call Chairman Frank because I was in that meeting as Chairman Frank. I wasn't there as the Undersecretary for Home Affairs at that time. Because if I were there for Home Affairs, my boss should have been there too, but he was not privileged to be there. So whatever I discussed in there was as a chairman. Why will I release this information if I do not see a wrong narrative out there? As chairman, I've lost money trying to acquire resources for the revolution. But do you know why the people never took it beyond the loss? Because we did it collectively. The county was involved. The defense was involved. So when we have challenges, everybody is briefed right at the moment the challenge occurs, not 10 months after. Because if you keep it for 10 months, who do you really want to tell at that time? If you knew this thing was 419, why did you not tell us some 6 months ago? I had a big rubber gun that was in my county. And I asked for my money to buy it. You tell me to hold on. And I hold on 10 months after, you come and tell me it was 419. I lost the money. I lost the rubber gun. Yet I say I'm a fighter. Yet I say I'm struggling for ground zero. It's unethical. Thank you.
So the vehicle, after paying this amount of money, and because of 2 million colonial francs CFA, the vehicle went back to where it came from. Are you telling me it went back now to country B, country C, country D? Is that what you are telling the Ambazonian people?
Please, pardon my manners, please. I'm laughing because you can see why we even had to hold, after all the tempers flared, we said, brothers and sisters, we still need to save the revolution. Let's agree on what we need. Let's agree on what we need to tell our people.
What you need
the question, the very first question, hang on. No, we were not going to lie to our people. We were going to explain it to them. To avoid casualties, we were going to avoid Bishop John's narrative. Because telling the people country A through country F was an insult. It's better we tell them, unfortunately, things did not work out. We were not able to get the materials. We will figure out another way. That's good enough explanation. Not country A through country F. But I remember the question I asked, the very first question I asked them when I took the floor was, among the 4 of you that were in that meeting who were cabinet members, the president, the former vice president, Mr. Christopher Anu, and Mr. John Egiawa, among the 4 of you, who wants to take 100% responsibility of failure? Because the narrative out here is Sako stole the money. But 4 of you just explain your rule, president's rule. I was approached by Secretary Chris, former Secretary Chris then. I was approached by former Secretary Chris about materials. I brought in the vice president and handed him the mandate to run that project. Former vice president, I approached the people of Ambazonia through the counties and solicited for guarantee funds and said somebody was willing to pay for the materials till it gets to our destination. Then when you pick up your material, they will deduct your money. Then Secretary Chris portion, I brought this high target materials to the president, and we were interested in moving forward with the deal. Then Bishop John comes in to explain how he moved from country A through country F. So who takes 100% responsibility as a failure? What else do we need to do if we leaders cannot accept our own mistakes. If we were honest to ourselves, let's say, hey, we went in here with good intention. If the high target was an allergy, that's okay. To somebody at that time, that was a high target. And if the materials were actually buried in one Angola or whatever country, that's okay. We were desperate. But when people start moving the blame all to one angle because they want to look good in front of others, that is where I get offended. Because together we stand, divided we fall. And when we are falling, then everybody needs to clear themselves of what is happening. Don't let it be a one person's show. Do you think I can kill somebody because of that money? If you come back to me honestly and tell me I went and things did not work, just as my friend Chris Anu said it, I found out it was a 419. To me at that time, that was good enough. I became offended when we started taking this thing to the social media and the narrative was not so perfect there. That's just all.
Did you people at one point in that meeting ever ask the name of that person who was the high target or whatsoever? Did you people ever?
No.
So it was
did not
reserved only. It was reserved only for Chris Anu and Dr. Abungwa.
If he mentioned the high target to them, then we would say Dr. Abongwa. Otherwise, he introduced the business, so he keeps the high target.
So it means at one point we will need to ask the president to release the name of that high target, because it seems the president is keeping the name of that high target.
Maybe. I think the issue, the challenge here is trust. Okay.
Okay.
Trust is the challenge.
I understand. Okay.
So if you come to me, let's say Comrade Langmi came to me when I was the chairman of Ngokutunja and said, Chairman, there's a project and our ARFs need to carry this project and I need $1,000. Do you think I will ask Langmi who is the commander that is carrying that mission? No. You know why?
Yeah, I get you.
Because I don't want to be compromised with that. Nowadays, this revolution we are fighting, you might be sitting with the enemy next to you. There are times that things are happening and my wife is sitting next to me. If I go asking for all the details, don't you think that might be the enemy sitting next to me? Do you think because I'm a gorilla, she is 100% gorilla? Or what about my brothers and sisters who do not even want to talk to me because I took my stand to defend Ambazonia? What if they were in my house at that time? Do you think I'm going to ask which commander is going to take that mission or when is that mission going to take place? Because that will be compromised. And all I would do at that level is trust. I will sign the $1,000 and let Comrade Langmi do his job because I trust him.
That's I think it's understandable. So what the Ambazonian people are expecting at the moment, because I hear now the blame is going to the president, that why did the president disburse the money? Because let me tell you something. If the president
all right, hold it right there. Hold it right there. Hold it right there. Hold it right there. I know that I understand the organigram of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. I am in that organigram. And you have heard it all over social media. My trusted compatriots have requested that they should audit me. Audit me for being a gorilla to move your resources from where you have it to where somebody picks up. Audit me. But the question is, was it only the president that signed that money? No. Let it be known. If you look at, there is a requisition that either one of these activists or whatever they call themselves put it out there, and to them, they want to tarnish the image of the government. Go to the bottom of that requisition and read what is written in fine print. Only the president or the vice president of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is authorized to sign any money, even $1, out of the national treasury. The vice president had the ability to sign that money without even the president's knowledge, because once the president gave him that file and said, handle this, that is good enough. The vice president doesn't need to prepare a requisition and bring it to the president. He has the express permission. He is a signatory in the treasury to take out money. So I just want to correct that narrative, that if anybody is out there saying, oh, it is the president's fault because he signed the money. No, both of them, president and vice, can sign money out of the treasury. So you can now ask your question.
So it means the file was handed to Dr. Abungwa. So everything that went out, it means the president gave him his position to work on that project. It means if there was any, if he would have foreseen any loophole or any schemish work, he was supposed to have, he would have been the first person to discover the president stopping million for everything to be exposed. So, and then here I can authoritatively tell you that maybe he too was even part of the scam, because he knew for how many months, up the ups and downs, as a landed individual. Let me tell you something about Abiyahausa Kwata Pikin, they bought me for Fiango. I've lived with a lot of these scammers and interacted a lot with them. Whenever you hear that transfer of funds and the person who is the middleman to transfer gets 20%, no, it's scam. Let me tell Ambazonians. For example, look at what scammers do. They get a bank account. They transfer the fund into that bank account, and the owner of that bank account must have 20% of that fund that enters. So you sending that money in America, sending that money to whoever was directed, and that person has to cut 2,000 from 10,000, was already a scam. Fellow Ambazonians, I am up with one business that Mr. Christopher Anu would tell Ambazonians who took that money. Who was that his friend? Who was that his friend whom he sent to scam the Ambazonian people of 135,000 US dollars, equivalent to 75 million colonial francs CFA? His I don't know, I call them his monitoring demons. They don't ask him that question. They don't talk about it. But I want to tell you, Ambazonians, if the president had not accepted this deal, that same Christopher Anu will come out and tell Ambazonians that I had a deal, I brought somebody, and that person was ready to give out material, but the president did not. The president never authorized. The president never accepted it because he never wanted the war to go on. He has been compromised. That is the story that would have been out today. But the president gave out the go ahead. And what are you telling the Ambazonian people today? That the plan is not working, that are not going on. I want to remind you, Ambazonian, the most successful year from 2016, when lawyers started their hala on how today, the most successful year that we have gotten in this revolution is 2021. There was much pressure on the Swiss stocks. 2021, we saw the rising of Field Marshal No Pity, Field Marshal Ten Kobo, Major General Okoro, Major Grandpa. It is 2021. 2020, we saw funds raised from draft. These same people, Mr. Christopher Anuel was one of those who rejected draft for 2021. He was not. And if you follow most of the drafts, he was never there. But today, he's the one making loud noise on social media, shouting from one end of his mouth to the other side. Dr. Sako cannot walk, cannot do this, cannot do that. I want to ask you, Ambazonians, he as communication secretary, former communication secretary, when he was communication secretary, why did CNN not invite him for interview? Why did BBC, why did he not engage the major houses as a communication secretary? He is putting his failure in front of the Ambazonian people. These are the things I had never wanted to talk. These are the things I had never wanted to come out and talk, because I face and I focus on La Republique. But I have to speak, I have to tell you people these things now. Because to carry all their failures to Dr. Sako, which is a shame. You invited somebody. Now I want to tell you, Ambazonians, he is just a face. He brought a picture, but behind that picture, he is the one behind that picture. Until he proves me wrong by giving the name of who took that money. For now, I will tell you people, Mr. Christopher Ano, bring back the 135,000. Until I get the name, he is the one who has swindled this money. Mr. SOS, are you still there? We don't have much time. Let's talk about.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. I think we got through that. Please, what is happening in Bambalang? We hear Bambalang is under attack. What is happening in Gokutunja, Ambazonia? That is your comment. That is your symbol of fire.
So, thank you, Comrade Paul Nilong. As guerrilla fighters, we have our good days, we have our difficult days, we have our sad moments. My heart goes to all the boys that fell in battle in Gokutunja this last 1 week. It has been extremely rough on us. But I understand why. Because these empty verses that are making noise out there, if their own areas were hot, then Gokutunja will not be as hot as it is. I will spend time to work on the ground, not spend time on social media ranting. We know a true guerrilla in action, not on social media. For those that think Gokutunja is in trouble, I say no. The restoration forces on Gokutunja, before they engaged in this, they knew the battle was not going to be easy. My heart goes to Field Marshal No Pity for his braveness, and his dedication towards homeland. Bambalang suffered a drastic attack a couple of days, but I guarantee you nobody was compromised because of that. It was just an unlucky day for our boys. We see the casualties more on our side, but La Republique will not show you their own casualties. From direct confirmation from the Field Marshal himself, more than 5 La Republique soldiers went down that day. We're talking of those in Bambalang. We are not talking of those that were held for a 5 to 6 hour gunfire at Bamali by the Bamali Restoration Forces and the Bamisin Restoration Forces, because those were the backups that were heading to Bambalang, and our brief boys were able to stop them on the way for over 5 hours. No movement. If everything had worked out the way Field Marshal No Pity had planned it, all Ambazonians will have been celebrating. You see this? Everybody will have had a bottle of whiskey in front of their table to drink, to celebrate, because we have had victory. The noisemakers will have joined in the celebration. They don't know what it costs. They are only there to run their mouth. But for some reason, they scored a 50-50. Because if I lost 5 and you lost 5, it's a 50-50. Yes, we did not even pray for one of our own to suffer any casualty, talk less of death. But unfortunately, it happened. So I'm calling on Ambazonians to understand this is not a child's play. This is not a child's play. I am so disgruntled to hear people putting some stupid headers on flyers to talk about Ngokutunja when they cannot boast to support the boys. How many were wounded? What have you done? All you say is how, oh, if this president was not compromised, he wouldn't have done that. Ngokutunja County is one of those areas in Ambazonia that we stand by our word. Even though we don't carry the word warriors in our name, we are warriors. For those who know Ngokutunja so well, before the fight for restoration of statehood, you will have known that inside the northern zone, intertribal war, Ngokutunja was always topping the league. But since the quest for our freedom came in, all those intertribal wars have stopped, and our focus is the enemy that was pushing us into intertribal wars. So now we are chasing the enemy. And just of a sudden, a new breed of enemies came in, and they think they can distract us. They even go to the level of writing Facebook messages about our generals that their days are numbered. We are gorillas. We want you to try. If you don't want us to put your intestines out there, try. If you think we are joking, try. We are not on social media. We are in the field. And we put our foot in the field, not in the social media. If you think Ngokutunja is troubled, no. For those standing with Ngokutunja, please, we need your support. The only way we can take the enemy out is to make sure we go viciously for their camps or whatever they call it, brigades, and take them out of our territory. They did not go to No Pity's camp to take him down. It was No Pity that went to their camp and fought them in their camp. So what did you expect? That it was just going to be an easy battle?
It was not. It was
No.
not a surprise attack as he usually carries.
That's it. And I'm just
Okay.
calling on the population of Bambalang and the entire Ambazonia. Our civilians, I will be talking to you in the days ahead. We need to refocus. We need to refocus. For those of you that have chosen the side of the oppressor, don't let the restoration forces come for you. This issue of black leg, that is what is killing us. Comrade Paul, let it be on the record. The plan was 100%, but a black leg who saw the vehicle heading towards the gendarmerie called, and the gendarmerie was alert. So they opened fire on the vehicle. The restoration forces were going to take them, and that's where they got my boys.
Okay,
But
I see.
I guarantee you, they will still come for La Republique until they leave that territory, until Ambazonia is free. There will be no peace, and we are capable to the task. Thank you.
Thank you. What is the way forward for our ARF? There's a one concerned citizen talking about Nguti, Tombe, all this Kupe Maninguba area. What is the way forward? What is the vision you have for our restoration forces and that area? I see. One Dr. Epa is making noise there everywhere on social media. Restoration Council, but he cannot even control. He cannot even. They cannot even fire one bullet under his leadership in Kupe Manenguba. So what is your vision? What is the way forward? What is your assurance that you are giving our ARF on the ground?
Comrade Paul, thank you for that question. Fellow Ambazonians, we are at a crossroad. Crossroad because we are focusing so much on things that will not help us.
If I have to cut you, seeing a comment from Ambazonia Bobo, he says, Comrade Frank, I'm sending in $1,000 for No Pity. Thank you very much, Ambazonia Bobo. We acknowledge that. We have sacrificed your everything, Ambazonia Bobo. You are just the best. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Amen. God bless you. God
Hey,
bless you. God
Comrade
sees what
Paul,
you are doing for you. Yes.
that is what we call patriotism. Instead of writing 1,000 pages of
Comments and what?
nonsense, I call it nonsense because the boys on ground, we are using their blood as ink now to write all sort of stupid things instead of helping them. I challenge them. I expected by this moment I should be hearing these activists on their platform saying, I have raised 10,000 for the boys on ground. I expected that. But you know what? They are falling for the cheap publicity. Let's call names.
Yeah. SOS, please. What is the way forward? I think that is not it's not important. Just what is
Yes.
the way forward?
This morning
Kupe
I
Mane-
listened to an
what?
audio. I listened to an
Yeah.
audio from a Kupe Maningoba fellow who said anybody that attends a meeting on behalf of Kupe Maningoba, his family will be taken care of. True. All of us have families. When you threaten one family, think about yours. Do you think that's really going to be the way out? All
So
right,
they can
this is
they
what
cannot
I think.
so they have forces. They cannot go against La République. They want to use the forces to go against. Okay, now
That is
we
what I'm
understand.
saying. That is
Yeah,
what
we
they
understand.
have. Their forces that are good enough only for the families of those that want to do the right thing. For the rest, let it be on record. But I say, nobody has monopoly of that. Now, the way forward for Kupe Maninguba and the rest of the counties that are so quiet right now is the interim government is ready to work. I am a firebrand. I don't settle for cheap things. If the restoration forces of Kupe Maninguba are ready to work, if the commanders of Kupe Maninguba, the diaspora commanders, are ready to work, my doors are open. But if they want to settle for cheap politics, let them run their politics. We will deliver Ambazonia and they will then continue their politics there. I'm calling on all the restoration forces all over Ambazonia. Stand up and do the right thing. For those that are speaking on your behalf in the diaspora, they do not feel the pain you are feeling. Because if they felt that pain, then they wouldn't be trying to do what they are doing right now. Yes, every house has a challenge or its own challenges. But should we go and fix our house in the market? Should we tell our enemy who is sleeping and who is not sleeping? Is that not just exposing ourselves to the enemy for capture? Yes, it's been a while now. Even a knockout has not exploded in some counties. But I guarantee you things will be fixed. And the way forward is I am ready to work with their commanders and we will restore things the way we think we should move them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have Tapadi here, our ABC director. Tapadi, you are welcome on the show.
Thank you very much. Paul, can you hear me?
Yeah, we are getting you. You are getting you 5 on 5.
Yeah,
Paul, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Fellow Amazonians, ladies and gentlemen, SOS Frank, good evening. Congratulations. I have been following your program very closely, and I would say it is an interesting program, very interesting show. I want the opportunity to thank Ambazonian Bobo. Ambazonian Bobo, your cafe day up. Thank you very much. He is very patriotic, always donating, always there to chip in and feed in. Now this I'm coming on live now to make this very vital and also to make some comments. And the announcement is tomorrow, the SOS for Communications and IT, Dr. Martin Mungwa and spokesperson per interim, the both of them will be coming live with me on an exclusive discussion. Tomorrow we're going to be comparing constitutionality and unconstitutionality, the legality and illegality of certain individuals. I would not like Amazonians to generalize or to call it the entire Restoration Council, but certain individuals, I want to call them criminal elements of the Restoration Council, are trying to purport or mimic the entire Restoration Council as a bad flaw. But that is not what is happening. We have from intelligence report that a majority of the Restoration Council is not in agreement of the constitutional overreach of the chairman of the Restoration Council. And whatever you saw out, the letters that were signed was, I would say, a fraud. It is a breach of our constitution. You have few individuals, Dr. Luis, Sango Luis Tongwe, EPA, and a few individuals who want Ambazonians to think that it was agreed upon. It was a committee, I would say a hand-picked committee of the Restoration Council chairman. Their primary objective initially was to reduce the powers of the president, and then they move on appealed because it was unconstitutional and there were no framework for that to be executed. That now they want you to end legality. Understand APP former vice president dismissed Secretary of Education, and so we are in a situation where they are using their platform, as I speak, to misinform our people, inform them, and to manipulate them. We understand that a certain mighty is currently speak on ABS criticizing Dr. Lobati for not accepting to be a part of the illegality. We're hoping that the Restoration Council, I'm talking about the righteous men and women of the Restoration Council, will take responsibility and to do the right thing. That notwithstanding, tomorrow is pregnant. I want you to stay resolute, refuse to be distracted. Do not allow any of these individuals to manipulate you. Like I would say over and over again, do not present yourself vulnerable. Ask real questions. I'm very grateful for SOS Frank for coming out clean and plain, talking with proofs, facts. That is what we want, factual information, not empty talking. He's willing to present receipts of the deals. And there's something I highlighted. He brought to attention the fact that you have the same individuals who have carried on very strategic projects of the interim government and they have failed. But we have learned our lessons. One of the reasons why they're fighting so hard now is because they do not want to be exposed, number one. Number two is because they want to continue the fraud and extorting from Ambazonians. But Ambazonians, be rest assured they have failed. We understand they are planning to go to the extreme. On Thursday, I just want to announce to you that you have a town hall with the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia on Thursday. And hopefully by Wednesday, the President will be addressing the nation on very strategic and very important things. We will update you in case there are any changes. I just want to appreciate you, Paul, once again for this exceptional show. I was supposed to be a part of this, but because of what I'm doing, I cannot. I want to thank SOS Frank. You guys are simply amazing. And I especially want to thank our female producer. Ambazonians, I want to announce to you the producer of this program is Lady Casey, one and only Lady Casey, the woman who has taken upon herself to learn how to produce a program, and she's the one behind the machine doing the technical work. Thank you, a great show. Bye-bye for now. We'll talk after the show.
Thank you very much, Paddy King, Paddy the King. Thank you very much. Thank you. I got a message also from Nijo of the Department of Resource Mobilization. It says, Ambazonia Bobo, I just heard your support for Field Marshal No PT read out on ABC TV. What an example of a true patriot. So proud of you, brother. God bless you abundantly and replenish your pockets. Nijo, Department of Resource Mobilization, Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Thank you much, Ambazonia Bobo. Thank you. Please, I think you can put my SOS so that we continue our discussion. Today. Yes, my SOS. I heard they say I'm not from Gokutunja, that I was hired to go and vote a motion in Gokutunja.
My brother, when we choose to stand with certain areas, it's easy for people to quickly castigate. Even up to the point, let me tell you something. I have my fellow brother whose one foot is in Gokutunja, but his main leg is in Fako. And in there, he's called a Pasamoto. He's Gokutunja blood. Whatever he's doing there, if he chooses tomorrow to return to Ngokutunja, We will not say, no, go. You are in Fako. No, we are Ambazonians. So the answer to that is, if anybody thinks that you do not deserve to come back home, tell them that's their problem. Because to us in Gokutunja, it is in our blood. We are organized. So we can spread that blood in other areas so that Ambazonia will enjoy the benevolence of that stone our forefathers placed called Gokutunja. Comrade, let's not be worried about that. You have the doors are always open to come back to Ngokutunja any moment and hold the representative to the task. You have the ability to come back and take any position of responsibility in your county. When you choose to stay around Meme, it's because you are giving a hand there and we appreciate it. And it's because of you in Meme that we will be coming down there to join you and fight to liberate Meme. Let it be known.
Thank you very much. I also got information that one Mr. Luis Etongwe of the Restoration Council, he does not represent Bonge LGA, and we don't know him, but he purports himself that he is from the Bonge LGA. Point of note, I am the Assistant Defense Chief from Bonge LGA. I have two counties. I am the pioneer. Meme County, I am the pioneer, the founder of Meme County. It's me, Paul Nilon. When they started county by county, I contacted the presidency, and I was directed to Dr. Metuge. Dr. Metuge created that forum, abandoned it to me, and I started recruiting till today. So I work most especially with Mbonge LGA after we had some small misunderstanding. I am also the pioneers of Ngokutunja County. The first 5 people in the Ngokutunja County Forum, Ponilong, Dr. Tom Dula, Dr. Peter Ndula, we also Tenola George, I think Langmi was not even among those, but I think this is the ones I could remember. Until
I think Kalesh at that time, I don't know whether Kalesh was there.
Kalesh too was there. Yeah, those are the pioneer. We I was even supposed to be one of the signatory. We're supposed to sign the documents from Ngokutunja here in Germany. So I was supposed to be one of the signatories.
True.
But by then, I think we had a problem at the level of the notary, so I think it was suspended.
And that is why Comrade Paul Munjo, alias Uncle P, that is why he made away with our money. You remember that? That is why he made away with our money. Because he was your European. Good. He was your European treasurer at that time. And I requested to him more than 20 times to send that money to Ground Zero. Until date, nothing was sent.
He took that money and disappeared. So, fellow Ambazonians, I was not hired to vote in Ngokutunja. I am an integral part of the Balikumba GA and an integral part of the Mbonge LGA. I want to be clear. For now, I represent Balikumba LGA. At the level of the defense, I work with Mbonge LGA. It should be clear, because I hear somewhere on the planet Earth they are calling my name that I was hired to vote a motion. And I'll be proud even if I was hired to vote a motion that stands for the people. I'll be proud to go there. I'll be proud to stand and fight for this. criminals.
Well, Comrade
And
Paul, let me say something here, Paul. Comrade Paul, please.
yes,
These were internal affairs of Ngokutunja. Whoever took them out is a concern to me. It's a concern to me, and I'll get to the bottom of it. Yes, because when we try to fight our enemy in the public, that's where we fail. People do not know. We have individuals. Let me take another individual. Our vice president, Comrade Ate, he has drafted in more than 5 different counties. I mean, $1,000. Can he be a member in those counties if he chooses to? Oh, yeah.
certainly.
Can he choose a county and even go there and become an executive in that county? Oh, yeah. That is for the liberation of our people. For those noisemakers who cannot be proud of $100 they have invested in the last 12 months in this quest for restoration, and yet they are distributing 1,000 messages a day. They are just disturbing the social media space just because they want to get their benefits. They should be very careful, because we are out for true business. If anybody goes into a county just to nose around and take the county information out, that is wrong and unethical. Because if we are managing our affairs at the county level, at the LGA levels, there will be no problem. The federal government is there to supervise, not to run the daily affairs of the local governments and the counties. So if the county choose to stand with emotion, it is their business. If you don't like it, join that county and make your point known. Not all this social media talk. Thank you.
Okay, we are rounding up. I'm just getting some info. This information is not verified, but I'll read it. I receive it. Louis Etongwe, Cometa, Bo Herbert, Chris Ajua are pioneer founding members of Morix. Etongwe sat on the table and was the one presiding during the launching of Morix in early 2017 in Hagerstown, Maryland. Cometa was working the sign index and selling Morix t-shirts. Tabenyang was Morix treasurer. Theodon Gumba and his group staged a protest and were ejected from the meeting. Morix hijacked our Restoration Council. Fellow Ambazonians, Morix has hijacked the Restoration Council. This information is not confirming it now, but I think from what I am reading here, whoever Louis Etongwe is not a member representing the Mbonge LGA in the Restoration Council. He is a scammer. These are how they have infested our Restoration Council. It means Papa has invited his friends, his colleagues, so that the government will be run, the legislature will be run as per the mentality of Morix and NCNC. Fellow Ambazonians, we are not going to take it lightly. So, whoever you are, Mr. Louis Etongwe, you have your time. All that are playing in Session Council, I'll be making an audio out tomorrow to this effect. Fellow Ambazonians, the interim government is unshakable. The leadership of His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ekomesako, call me a surrogate, call me a hand clapper, is unshakable. And there's nothing you can do about it, because the people of Ambazonia stands with this interim government. It is based on the truth. It's based on the truth. Fighting for homeland unreservedly. Fellow Ambazonians, accept all the names. Let me tell you, Jesus died alone with the truth. So if you are to stand with the truth against 1 million people who are telling lies, you remain the star. I'll be talking about the scam of the Restoration Council, of some clique. They call themselves a government affair committee. God exposed them through that letter, through that piece of trash, which I am advising the interim government not to consider. Ambazonians, you cannot sign out a document, official document, no date, no date, no address. It's not addressed to anybody, and it is copied to nobody. So it is null and void. We must hold fast. We must be steadfast and focused. Do not be afraid what they tell you. I don't care. Activists, they call me all kinds of names. But each time I make an audio, no one is able to challenge it. You are not my fellow activist. You are disrespectful, lack of home training. I say this on the national television. You call yourself activist. You put people's picture, you describe them as if they are not humans. You talk, you abuse, you insult people who are your elders, who are able to I mean, they are equal to women who can put bed to you. You insult them with no respect. And tomorrow, if your own child asks you that, daddy, what did you write on your wall like that? Why did you describe this woman or this man like that? What will you say? I describe you all as children, lack of home training. Because if you have home training, you will not address your elders. You will not insult and abuse them because they don't buy your ideas, your point. Go back, all of you. You call yourself, when you put pictures of people up and you say, you abuse them, you insult their creation, who they are, how do you feel? Poor home training. But tomorrow your children will talk to you. Your children will ask you questions. Say, daddy, is this how low you went to insult another human being like that? When you put the picture of a human and you put that of a monkey and you compare, because this man or this woman does not tie with your view, does that make you more better than that person? Handsome people don't die. Beautiful people don't die. Ugly people die, then bury them for one place. When you put the picture of your mother and you insult and look at her ugly face, it means you have turned God. So all of you insulting, I don't insult people. When I call Christopher Anu a scammer, it's because I need to see that scammer. So if I don't see that scammer, I will call him a scammer. It ends there. But you not hear me go and say Chris Anu is an ugly man or Chris Anu is like this. No, I don't. I know my limits. I am an activist. I want to pass out information. I know my limits. Our wonderful mama is telling us to round up. Our wonderful Ken Klister is telling us to round up. So, fellow Ambazonians, they will not intimidate us. Pa Frank, if you are there, you have just 2 minutes to round up. 2 minutes to tell Ambazonians something.
Can you hear me?
Very much. Just 2 minutes to round up.
All right, thank you. Sorry, my device went off and I had to switch real quick.
Oh.
Well, fellow Ambazonians, I think this is the only time I will come here to spend 2 hours of the people's time to be talking things that do not take the revolution forward. Next time when you see me on any show, it will be about counting our blessings and naming them one by one. I am ready to work. So, fellow restoration forces, do not be distracted by this. Yes, I know in some forums, some restoration forces are requesting that those people come and answer in front of them. My people, we are all gorillas. Let's not have time for things that will not move the struggle forward. My doors are open. Anytime, let's strategize on how to push La Republique out of our territory. All this other business, we will handle it when we get to Boya. Please do not be distracted. Count and trust on your president and the interim government structure. We are here for a structure, not for individuals. If we rubbish the structures, tomorrow we will have the same problem. If you think there is something we should fix, we have to fix it inside the structure. It's only a foolish man that will remove the roof of his house during the rainy season because he thought the house was leaking when he doesn't even have materials to replace the roof. We can hang in there and patch the leaks and keep going. When we get to our destination, we will change the roof. Why can't we change the roof? Ambazonia is going to be better than La Republique 100 times. Because people like us, we will not see that rubbish. We are here to fix it. People of Ambazonia, if I were greedy, I do not have any reason to fight. Because where I am, I can be comfortable with what I have. But where some of our brothers and sisters, our parents are, they don't have the opportunity even for their daily meals. So in order to make sure that there is fair treatment of our people, some of us are standing up because we want to defend homeland. Do you really think I'm fighting because I want to come back and be a minister over there? Oh, I'm fighting because I really truly love motherland. We are thousands and millions in the diaspora. But those that are able to remove a dime out of their pocket to support this revolution are not up to 100. Why? Because the others are comfortable where they are. And they have decided to choose to abandon our homeland to our oppressor rather than fight. But for those of us, we have already soiled our hands with blood, and we will fight till the end. My children in my house, they are already singing the Amba anthem. Because even if you kill me, they will fight, and their generations will fight. Even if we married the white women and all whatnot, and we have white children, those white children will still come back home and fight because they have the blood of the warriors in them. Don't think this is going to end today. And we are ready either to free us and give us our freedom to fix our country and live peacefully, or La Republique will be in chaos as we sit on these hot seats. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, fellow Ambazonians. I'll be doing a live show on my page, or maybe come up again on ABC, what they are not telling you. We are running up. God bless you. Good night. Thank you, SOS Frank. We still have more invitations. You'll be coming up to brief. We'll still continue with a defense briefing. You and Comrade Zama will be coming up for our defense briefing. So I hope you keep time for that so that we keep the fire burning. Thank you very much, Ken Clister. Thank you, Lady K. Thank you, Lady K. Thank you, Lady K. Good night, Ambazonians. God bless you. Stick by the truth. We stand by the truth till we go here. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you, Comrade.
can't believe I'm still running today, running away from the place I call home, stumbling on corpses as I fly into the wild. I hear the melody that you're playing on your ramble. I see the blood that you spill flowing down the riverside. From Mancon to Mangfe, our men are perishing. From Kumba to Kumbo, our mothers are wailing. Is this the unity you've been talking about?